The Cleveland Browns just pulled off one of the most disrespectful moves in recent NFL history. Shedeur Sanders, the former Colorado quarterback who was once projected as a first or second round pick, now sits at the bottom of a four-man quarterback competition before he's even stepped foot in his first training camp. We're talking about a player who entered the draft as one of the most highly regarded quarterback prospects. Some analysts ranked him even higher than Miami's Cam Ward, who went first overall to the Tennessee Titans. Yet, here we are, with Sanders watching trade rumors swirl around him like vultures circling their prey. The disrespect started on draft day, and it's only getting worse. Let me break down exactly what's happening here and why the Browns' treatment of Sanders is absolutely shocking. Sanders walked into the 2025 NFL Draft with sky-high expectations. He was widely regarded as one of the top two passing prospects alongside Cam Ward. The projection, first or second round, no question. Then the unthinkable happened. Sanders watched as four other quarterbacks got called before him. Ole Miss's Jackson Dart went to the New York Giants at pick 25 after a trade-up move. Louisville's Tyler Show got selected by the Saints in round 2. Alabama's Jalen Milroe went to the Seahawks in round 3. Even Oregon's Dillon Gabriel got picked by the Browns in the 3rd round. Sanders, he fell all the way to the 5th round, pick 144 overall. All 32 NFL teams passed on him for more than 4 rounds. Think about that for a second. There's less space separating Sanders from the last pick in the draft than there is from pick 144 and the first pick of the draft. Throughout this humiliating slide, Sanders kept his composure. He posted on X Saturday morning, "Another day, another opportunity to get a chance to play the game I love. Thank you, God, legendary." After finally getting selected by Cleveland, he simply wrote, "Thank you, God." But the real disrespect was just beginning. The Browns didn't just draft Sanders and give him a fair shot. They created a quarterback battlefield with 4 healthy players fighting for one starting job. Sanders now faces Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dillon Gabriel. The same Dillon Gabriel who got picked 2 rounds ahead of him. With Deshaun Watson expected to miss another season after re-tearing his Achilles, you'd think there might be opportunity. Instead, the Browns have created the most competitive quarterback situation in the NFL. Veterans Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett are considered the most likely starters. Gabriel, as a 3rd-round pick, sits ahead of Sanders in the pecking order. Where does that leave Sanders? Dead last on the depth chart. General Manager Andrew Berry claims he's open to keeping all 4 quarterbacks if they play well enough. But here's the reality. The Browns will likely only keep 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks maximum. Sanders is fighting for his NFL life before he's even put on pads. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse, NFL analyst Emmanuel Acho delivered the most brutal assessment possible. He labeled Sanders a camp body. The reality for Shedeur Sanders is that as a 5th-round pick, it rarely matters how talented you are. You may never even get the opportunity to win the starting job. Sometimes as a 5th, 6th, or 7th-round pick, they are already cutting you. You are a camp body. You are there for training camp. A camp body. Let that sink in. This is a player who broke more than 100 program records at Colorado. A player who finished his career with 1,267 completions out of 1,808 attempts for a 70.1% completion rate, 14,353 yards, and 134 touchdowns with only 27 interceptions. But according to Acho, none of that matters because of where he was drafted. The camp body label became the foundation for trade speculation before Sanders even arrived at his first practice. The pressure cooker that is NFL training camp presents Sanders with his biggest challenge yet. Former NFL linebacker Monty Teo explained exactly what Sanders is walking into. Guys during OTAs and minicamp, they're going to go golf after practice. They're going to go play pickleball after practice. They're taking their kids to t-ball practice after OTAs. You're about to go into training camp, and time will tell because in training camp, somebody is trying to take somebody's job, and it gets very, very serious. The speed of the game gets quickened a little bit. It speeds up a little bit. The margin for error gets smaller. T.O. continued. It's going to be something for us to pay really close attention to because this is going to be the next transition for not only Shedeur, but every quarterback in the NFL going into training camp. It's a different speed, there's more on the line, and it's something that we've got to pay attention to. Sanders has to prove himself against 3 other quarterbacks in this high-pressure environment. Rookies report to Browns training camp on July 18th. Veterans report on July 22nd. The first practice available to fans begins on July 25th. The first preseason game is August 8th against the Carolina Panthers. Former NFL offensive lineman Willie Colon acknowledged Sanders' post-draft response, but delivered a harsh reality check. "You can't make the club in shorts. It comes down to pads and hard work." As if the situation wasn't degrading enough, trade rumors began circulating before Sanders even stepped foot in training camp. Hunter Cookston of Sporting News reported that Sanders could be traded to the Los Angeles Rams, contingent on HO's camp body assessment proving accurate. The Rams connection makes sense on paper. Matthew Stafford is 37 years old and played with broken ribs last season. The Rams lack a clear succession plan. Mark Sipos of Dog Pound Daily wrote, "Matthew Stafford is still capable, but the Rams don't have a clear succession plan." Sanders could sit behind him, learn the nuances of Sean McVay's system, and grow into a potential starter down the line. His timing-based game and quick release would fit the scheme, and there'd be no pressure to play early. The Rams are Super Bowl contenders with 20-1 odds to win the Lombardi Trophy. They already re-signed Jimmy Garoppolo to a 1-year deal as Stafford's backup. But who will succeed Stafford long-term? For Sanders, Los Angeles represents everything Cleveland doesn't. The celebrity status works in the City of Angels. The fan base isn't dealing with a championship drought. He could be a high-profile reclamation project without dominating every headline. There's even speculation that Deion Sanders could eventually take over for Lincoln Riley at USC, making Los Angeles the next home of prime time. The Sanders family might find it better suited than Boulder anyway. While trade rumors swirl, Sanders demonstrated exactly what the Browns might be losing. He organized the Garden Valley Fun Fest for residents of the Rainbow Terrace apartments who were displaced after a June 23rd explosion. Tragedy was devastating. Dozens of families lost their homes. 5 people were injured. Heroic stepfather Cordell Sheffield suffered burns to 90% of his body, saving his stepchildren, and passed away on July 10th. Sanders didn't just write a check. He showed up, he organized food trucks, bounce houses, and activities. He went section to section blowing bubbles with kids, playing cornhole, and taking photos with fans. Sanders said, "It's definitely just get active and actually do it. Sending money and stuff, that's easy. But you have to actually go out there and be in the flesh. I feel like that's more impactful."
When everything transpired, I was out of town. So I was like, nah, the first thing I do when I get back is definitely come to the community. I could tell everybody's vibe out here is down to earth. So a lot of people that didn't want me coming out here doing it, but I don't understand why. You know, God told me come out here, so I'm never going to question his word. It's definitely just get active and actually do it. You know, sending money and stuff, that's easy, but you have to actually go out there and be in the flesh. You know, I feel like that's more impactful.
Attorney Stanley Jackson, who represents Sheffield's family, explained the event's purpose. Every day they're faced with remembering the tragedy they went through. There are some other things that they are dealing with currently, being displaced and living in different places, and they need this to be something that people are coming out to support them. This happened days before Sanders' first training camp. While fighting for his NFL career, he prioritized community service. Yet the Browns are already shopping him around.